Hey everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It is Thursday, January 15th, 2026, and I think we're in big trouble around the world. It's not just a Washington D.C. thing. It's not just a Ukraine thing. It's not just Taiwan. It's not just Ukraine. It's everywhere. But to do this show, to stay fully prepared and keep our heads in the game, we got to start somewhere. So let's start in Minnesota. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement has been attacked. Repeatedly, constantly attacked. The governor there, Twinkle Toes, also known as Tampon Timmy Walls, the governor, as well as Mayor Jacob Frey of Minneapolis, they are both encouraging violence, unlawful resistance, unlawful participation in a protest, because protests need to be non-violent, not mostly peaceful, non-violent. In any event, people are being injured, people are being hurt, and so we've got a place we were at. If you remember, we were all there back in 2020. Trump was at the end of his first term, and he could have stopped everything, but instead he did nothing, and he allowed every state with a Democrat governor and every city with a Democrat mayor, he allowed them all to just do whatever the hell they wanted, which was absolutely nothing. Nothing. They did nothing. And the consequences? $5 billion in damage, untold people injured, harmed, attacked, assaulted, and it was a giant shit show, and he could have stopped it. Not only did they attack cities and states, they also did that in Washington, D.C., going so far as attempting to set fire, burn down the church, the Christian church in Washington, D.C. Yeah, I don't think Trump has a church to worry about there anymore. In any event, they're allowing the violence, encouraging the violence, causing the violence, and doing nothing to stop the violence. But Trump came out today, and he's warning that corrupt Minnesota, those corrupt Minnesota politicians, if they don't stop the ICE and Department of Homeland Security and Border Patrol attacks, that he is going to invoke the Insurrection Act. More warnings, more bullshit warnings. The best way to stop crime is to go surprise it with a beatdown, arrest, and prison. Threats don't work against retards. Get it, Trump? The threats don't work. They're too dumb to know what's being said. They're too dumb to know the law. That's why they're doing what they're doing. They think because the governor and the mayor and the police are encouraging and allowing them that it's actually okay, that that's how you do it. But what they will understand is being arrested and spending time in jail. And they should not be arrested and put in local jails. They should be arrested for insurrection, a federal crime, and they should be taken to federal detention facilities, whether that's in Minnesota or whether it's down in Colorado or Oklahoma. I don't give a shit. They could send them to Gitmo for all I care. They're insurrectionists, period. I mean, look, if you think the government is behaving unlawfully, unconstitutionally, violating rights, violating their oaths, if you think they're bad, then it's go time with guns and ammo, right? Throwing rocks and bricks is a violent act of insurrection, but you're not going to win, right? You're just going to have a fight. In any event, folks, it's time for arrests and jail time. I don't think we're going to get that. I think we're going to get more bullshit warnings. What do you guys think? What are you seeing out there? There's a lot. There's a lot going on, right? The Gateway Pundit, they see what's going on in Minnesota, and they're calling it hell on earth. as these rioters destroy and loot ICE and FBI vehicles. And Trump just wants to threaten them. They're stealing out of these vehicles sensitive, government documents. They're stealing ammunition. And guess who is doing absolutely nothing? The police. Remember how we're supposed to back the blue? You're supposed to believe that the serve and protect guys are here for us. They're doing absolutely nothing. They're allowing criminals to commit crimes because they're complicit and they share a belief system that there is no law and order in this country except that which they decide to enforce for themselves. So, do you back the blue? Or do you ask, what can blue do for you? Right? On a case-by-case basis, I think law enforcement is and will be judged on whether or not they obey the Constitution or whether or not they violate it and neglect justice for political purposes. And if you and I, if ignorance of the law is no excuse for us, then we have to come right out and admit that cops are not ignorant of the law. They work with it, they live with it, they cite people with violations of it, and they arrest people for violating the law. So they can't pretend that they're ignorant. They know what's happening is criminal. And when they violate the law, they know full well they have joined the evil ranks of tyrants. Hey, tough job. But I think it's probably easy, very, very easy, to not be an evil, evil fucker in order to do that job. And that's what we're seeing. Police allowing burning, looting, raping, murdering of 2020. And I think they want to allow that here in 2026. Because, there's an election coming. And the best way to win an election is to what? Destroy the country? Folks, we're going to have trouble. That is Minneapolis is a microcosm, a very small thing, very small compared to the global situation, the amount of violence that the globe faces. So I want to go to a much bigger look. We've all heard of Armageddon, or at least we have a concept or idea in our head about what Armageddon is. It's the last battle. It's the last stand. It's where evil's defeated, allegedly. Armageddon's actually a place on the map. It's right there near Israel. But I want to ask this question on a global scale. Have you guys heard of the Greater Israel Project? Where Israel is no longer just Jerusalem and Tel Aviv and Gaza. Israel takes up Syria, and it's just like they expand the size about times 10. But you might ask, if that's their goal, is to start invading and fighting in the Middle East, and of course attacking Iran, is Israel the synagogue of Satan? Are they the ones that are going to start Armageddon, the war to end all wars? And if they do, to conquer the Middle East in an effort to try and create this greater Israel, do you think the United States, Europe, do you think the world will stop them or even fight them? And if they do, will Israel launch its nuclear weapons at the rest of the world? Or will Israel be nuked by everyone else? And if that happens, well, I guess with evil nuked flat, will the world be rid of the parasites, the blood-sucking bankers, all of the scum? Or will they still be everywhere around the world, hiding, waiting for another chance to steal and murder and conquer? We do live in very, very interesting times, folks. If you look at history, if you really, really dig into history, you might discover some very strange truths, some very interesting and hard to believe facts, but facts they are. Facts they are. Look into something called the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Sion. A lot of people claim that Hitler used those papers as fuel for his book Mein Kampf, My Struggle. A lot of people claim that the protocols are a fraud, that they were manufactured to make a group of people out there look bad. But if you look at what happens in the world and who does it every time, you start to see a lot of truths. But, I don't want to tell people, this is what I think. This is what I believe. You have to believe it. No, I'm not saying that. Go look it up. Look up who the bad guys in the world always turn out to be. Bankers, aristocracy, organized crime, if you want to call it that. And now in our contemporary modern times, the mainstream media is the enemy of liberty and is attacking our republic, our free republic, our constitutional republic, right? So in the White House today, some jackass reporter stood up and accused the ICE agent of, quote, recklessly and unjustifiably killing Renee Good, the woman who ran into him. Recklessly and unjustifiably killing Renee Good. So Carolyn Levitt called him, she said this, quote, "You're a left-wing hack," end quote. That's what she called the reporter. I think the reporter is worse than a hack. And I think the White House protects rich pedophiles. So the question is, right, who is actually really willing and able to protect this nation from its enemies? Us, me, you, us, we the people. And I guess we're on deck, right? When the time is right, and I think that's my message. We're up on deck. That's it. Who else is going to do it? The police aren't going to fix this country and arrest the bad guys. The government, at the state level, at the federal level, they're not. The mainstream media is so busy lying. Oh, who owns the mainstream media? Yeah, who owns them? Who controls them? It's not just one news channel. It's not just CNN, or it's not just MSNBC or MSDNC or Fox. It's not just one. It's all of the media is owned. All of the lawyers are owned. All of the politicians are bought and paid for. In other words, they're owned. Corporations are owned. Who owns all of this wealth? Who is wielding it like a weapon? Who is buying people? Who are the money changers out there, changing hands, changing money from this side to that side? Figure it out, folks. We've all got to figure it out. We see everything happening, or at least I do, on a global level. I see things happening at a national level. I see things happening at a local level, right? I don't know where we're all going to be involved in this. I don't know how big it's going to get. But I think they're trying to take, say, a little thing like Minnesota, which is billions and billions of dollars in theft, fraud, abuse being committed by our government, Tim Walz, our government, Mayor Frey, using federal funds, state funds to give billions of dollars to illegals here committing huge acts of fraud so they can all get kickbacks. You can see, yeah, and no one's doing anything. Oh, they're investigating. Oh, they're talking about arrests. Yeah, but nothing's happened. Well, now, right, I think they want to take little Minnesota and make it a state thing and then a federal thing, and then I bet they would love to have a global conflict over this concept of law and order and not. So a whistleblower, a so-called whistleblower, has leaked the identities of Border Patrol agents and ICE agents, thousands of them, after, Renee Good was shot. And the Department of Homeland Security is not happy, right? Anti-ICers, folks, let's call them that. They claim they made a list of all of the federal agents, ICE, Department of Homeland Security, Border Patrol, they made this list for future lawsuits to hold them all responsible. But now they've released that, all of the names. It appears they want chaos. Well, I find this kind of fascinating in a lot of different ways. You, me, all of us, we're known to the government. They know exactly who we are. They know exactly where we live. They know exactly how much money we make. They know exactly where we work. They know where our bank is. They know where we shop. They know everything about us. They know what social media sites we visit. They know what our opinions are. They read our fucking emails. They listen to our phone calls. You bet. Well, we the people have zero privacy from the government, and we can have our privacy, our lives intruded upon by social media. Mainstream media, corporations, hospitals, teachers, cops, tax collectors, they all get to know who we are. So maybe all of the ICE agents, all of the Department of Homeland Security, all of the Border Patrol, maybe it's a good thing that their names are known. I have not liked, and pardon me, folks, I have not liked that they run around with masks. I would prefer they didn't run around with masks. I actually think that they should be identified, just like your neighborhood beat cop or your neighborhood state, your state trooper, your state highway patrolman, whatever. Same with an FBI agent. No masks, running around. You're the FBI. Hey, you want to fuck with the bull? You want to mess with the cops? You're going to find out how that game is played. I don't know why ICE, right? Maybe this is a good thing. Maybe everyone should be known and take the same risks, just like you and I do. We go out every day, we live our lives, and we take risks. We have to hope government doesn't violate our rights. We have to hope that schools don't crap all over us and attack our children and try hurting them. It's a crazy world. Everyone should be known. We should all take the same risks, suffer the same losses. And even Steven, fair and square, ultimately, if everyone knows who everyone is, I say we should get it on, motherfuckers. I think that's what should be happening at this point. This hiding behind masks, it's obvious. It's obvious to me. The left wants to fight. The left wants to have a civil war. They just haven't gotten there yet. But I keep seeing that it's coming. It's coming. And who does this benefit? Which is another thing I think we all need to take a look at. Key bono. Who benefits? Who do you think benefits from this? I mean, I've got my belief system. The government, the banks, the media, corporations, they're all going to benefit. They always do. And we, the people, we always pay. And in this case, we have anti-American forces in this country. They would like to benefit with more power. You have to forgive me there, folks. All righty, there we are. Yeah, think about it. Everywhere you go, what do? You tell them your name. You give them maybe a birth date, social security number. They know exactly who you are. Cops, corporations. You go to a hospital, they know who you are. They know all the prescriptions you've taken. Teachers at schools, they have access into social media. Cops, of course, tax collectors, they know everything about you. I think it's good. I think they should all be known. I don't think they should be able to operate under aliases. Am I way off? Well, yeah, it makes it harder to do their jobs, puts their families at risk. Well, wait a minute. Don't we as Americans put our families at risk? Don't we put our lives at risk? Having to deal with these fucking retards on the street, these left-wing lunatics that scream and yell and they get mad. They run over regular citizens, not just cops. They blast people with fucking bullhorns. They throw fireworks at people trying to shoot out their eyes with lasers. Yeah. You and I, we suffer the same consequence. We drive down the street. They see our cars. They see our license plates. I think even Steven, fair and square. But you commit an act of assault on any of these people, they ought to be able to just fucking wail on you. I mean, it's coming to that, don't you think? Or do you think it's going to calm down? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to calm down, right? So the so-called whistleblower released everyone's names. Oh, they won it, folks. Please be prepared. Right now, again, we talked about down here, local level, state level, national level, international. National governments, or rather on the international playing field, countries are also losing their mind and making some of the most retarded decisions. Germany. Over in Germany, their mainstream media is reporting that the piece of shit Chancellor Merz, this is one of the cocaine gang, right, of the three amigos on the train. You had Queer Starmer, Emmanuel Macron, and Merz. They all had cocaine all over their table in the train when the media came in. Yeah, that fucking clown. He is sending the Bundeswehr, non-NATO German troops. He wants to send them to Greenland starting this week. I find this fascinating. Germany sending troops to another country. Hey, but Greenland is not German. Germany doesn't translate to Greenland. So Germany is now going to occupy Greenland with its military, which is not a part of NATO. How can that be? Either your whole country is part of NATO or it's not. So non-NATO Bundeswehr, right? Okay, great. They're sending German military to occupy Greenland to repel an invader that is not present. Well, if that's the case, Denmark now has a foreign army on their soil, and it's not the U.S. military. But yeah, Germany just invaded another country. That's kind of how it happened in World War II, by the way. Wow. Can you believe that shit? Unbelievably. Folks, it's Thursday. It's the Prepared Mind channel. I hope you're prepared with food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Get your questions, comments, thoughts down below to Mr. Uman, because in a few minutes here, we're going to break into your thoughts, your questions, your comments, and see what you guys have to say in the inner circle. Oh, boy. I mean, the time is coming, folks. I think the time is coming sooner than most realize. In West Virginia, ICE had a fire department bring a truck to go up onto a roof so they could capture some illegal aliens that were hiding on a roof of a house. So after this West Virginia fire department helped ICE, law enforcement, use a fire engine to get people off of a roof and take them into possession, right? Arrest them. Now that fire department is receiving death threats from the public. Why? Why doesn't Antifa, BLM, and communists just start shooting cops, firemen, ICE, everyone they don't like? Just start the killing already. I'm telling you, folks, the time is coming when they feel like, hey, those firemen assisted law enforcement to do their jobs. I think we should threaten them, make death threats. What are you going to do? Burn down the fire department? You would think that if any people had fireproof buildings, it would be firemen. Bomb threats? What's coming next? Or are they just going to start shooting? What do you guys think should happen? Do you, this is a serious question. Do you, as Americans, want them to quit playing around and quit pussyfooting and just start the partisan conflict? There's no right or wrong answer, because what it does is it promotes a conversation. I'm not calling for violence. I'm kind of like a taller, bigger, older Charlie Kirk with less patience and more foul language. I want the questions asked and the discussions started, not so I can be clever and put people down, but so you can actually raise the question, do we just need to get this on? Because it doesn't look to me like the police are doing their jobs, prosecutors, judges, mayors, governors, they're not doing their fucking job. Trump isn't doing his job. We could solve these problems really fast. They know who Antifa is. They know who BLM is. They know who the pro-Palestinians are. They know who they are. If they can track me and you and know every fucking penny we spend through banking, then they know who these people are. They lie to us. They lie to us. They pretend like they don't know. This call for lawlessness, this call to destroy this country, it goes even deeper than that. It's a call to destroy white people, white culture, and to eradicate and genocide white people. Why? Because white genocide would eliminate the white people. White people from Europe are responsible for the current level of civilization, or rather, I should say, peak civilization, which we've now passed and we're heading down the hill with all of this third world isms. So we got a horror story here for you. A horror story. Minnesota daycare. Okay, here we are back in Minnesota again for a microcosm of the bigger picture. Microcosm of the bigger picture. A daycare worker in Minnesota who has a history of erratic behavior towards children, works at a daycare place, works around children, and ends up murdering an infant, a baby boy, and then tried to strangle another infant to death. Why? Why was she employed in childcare in the first place? And then they turn and they bring their racism in. Racists are murdering children now because they've been convinced white people are evil and they should be killed. Evil religious scum, folks, have become a scourge that has to be expelled from our nation because it's a religion. I've called the Democrats. It's a cult of death. It's a religion of death. It's tied to Satanism. It's tied to groups of people that hate white people, hate America, and want to dominate it, destroy it, and suck it dry like a bunch of vampires. This is who we're facing as an enemy right now. Have you figured it out? Critical race theory. The 1419 project or whatever the hell that was, right? The Lincoln Project. There's another one. Diversity, equity, inclusion, ESG, environmental, social governments. All of these programs are created not by some local idiot. BLM wasn't the brainchild of some radical genius communist. No. Antifa has been around since the 20s and the 30s, 1920s and 1930s. Who do you think they were? You're going to love this shit. If 80% of the Soviet communists, the Bolsheviks, if 80% to 90% were Jewish communists, and then Antifa invaded and went into Germany, Antifa, anti-fascist, pro-communist, who do you think they were? I'm going to continue to hint around and pick away at this. We've got to wake up. Who was responsible for pornography, transgenderism, homosexuality, cross-dressing? All of that was started in the 1920s inside Germany. And those were the books that were burned. Those books, those stories, that paraphernalia, that pornography, that trash. It was done and designed to destroy Germany. And now look what we have here. The same trash. And that trash hates Christianity. It hates decency. It hates morality. It hates culture. It hates civilization. Just like these people. They buy into the brainwash. And they think they should hate white people and white culture. They hate anybody that wants law and order. They're communists. If you're rich, they want to destroy you. Now, of course, they won't go after the super rich now, will they? But think back to 2020 when BLM first started burning everything. Oh, all of the people in media were all for it until BLM got to their rich neighborhoods. And then you saw and you heard from the media telling the cops, get in there and get these fucking people out of our neighborhoods. Yeah, they didn't like it then so much. I think there was a particular, and I can't remember who it was, an ESPN announcer, one of these rich sports guys, made millions in sports, became a commentator. He was promoting BLM until they started burning his neighborhood. Then he didn't like it. Folks, we've got a bunch of shit on our hands. We've got a horror story, and it's coming true. They're killing people. They're calling for the death of people. They're calling Republicans evil. They're saying we need to die. It doesn't matter if you're black. As long as you're a conservative, they're going to treat you just like a white person. They're going to say, yeah, you sold out. You're an Uncle Tom. You need to die too. Not a good place to be, folks. Not at all. I tell you what we're going to do, though. It's going to be your turn. Your turn to bring up conversation and topics. It is now time for the Inner Circle. Oh, it's tough, folks. It really is. How many times have you seen Wizard of Oz? I've seen it, I think, maybe 6 times in my life. Sometimes, bits and pieces. Other times, front to end. One time was to see if Pink Floyd's The Wall actually matched up to everything. You're supposed to do that. Put on the wall and then watch the movie and see if it works. Anyways, you get to that part where Dorothy and the Tin Man and the Lion and the Scarecrow make it to the Emerald City. And they meet the wizard who gives them a mission. You've got to do something for me, right? And so they're deceived by this guy. They're fooled because he sounds powerful and acts powerful and makes powerful proclamations. So they do what they're supposed to. They're good little people, right? They go work, they pay their taxes just like you and me, and they come back. And, well, it turns out, right, that he doesn't want to live up to his promises. Just like government. They don't want to live up to their promises. They make a lot of noise and fire and smoke and yell and make proclamations and threats. But Toto, little Toto the dog, small, tiny, insignificant, grabs the curtain and pulls it back and reveals who the bad guy is. It's just one guy, just a regular human, pretending to be godlike, pretending to be special, pretending to be all-powerful Oz. They're not. Pull back the curtain, see who's behind it. You'll realize they're not all-powerful. But they've got everyone fooled now, don't they? They've got everyone fooled. Let's have some fun. Let's see what you guys want to talk about. Mr. Uman, Mikey G says, get the party started before I die of old age. I tell you, man, I hear you. I was in pretty much peak condition when I started this channel back in 2013, December of 2013. I was like, okay, not the fastest, not the youngest. I was pretty damn strong still. But here we are 12 years later, 2026. And yeah, get the party started. I'm going to be one of those slow guys. Slow and steady. Not a bad thing. Anyways, I hear what you're saying. As far as I'm concerned, I know who the bad guys are. It's everyone in government. I know who's sucking us dry like a big fat leech. It's government. And who is sucking the government dry? Corporations, banks, foreign countries, foreign interests, parasites. Isn't it funny how parasites cause cancer? Parasites cause diabetes. Parasites cause Alzheimer's. They chew away at the brain. It's funny how parasites attack us in real life, outside of our bodies too. We need a anti-parasitic cleansing. I'm not calling for violence. I'm just saying that's what we need. And I think it's going to come. Anyways, thank you, Mikey G, for sharing your opinion. Yankee Watchdog says, if that's what has to happen, so be it. Well, the question I'll ask you, and again, this is not about calling for violence. It's about opening dialogue, discussion, talking. Is there any other way to fix our problems? Our Constitution right here, cute little book, talks about limiting government. It talks about the rules, the limitations, the restrictions, authority of government. Constitution. It also has a remedy if government gets out of control. You see, the government's not doing its job, though. In fact, it's failing. It seems to be doing so intentionally. I'm not calling for violence. I just don't see another way to fix it. Oh, voting. Voting's a big part of the Constitution, right? We vote. Congress people get 2 years. Senators get 6. The president gets 4. Supreme Court justices are lifetime appointments. We've got voting. And certain people vote and have certain different jobs. We voted. It just gets fucking worse. We voted. And the Democrats went haywire, and now the Republicans are going haywire. All they are is fucking Democrats in Republican clothing. That's it. They're fucking us over. They fall right into the classification of tyrant. Folks, you don't all have to be King George. They can be King George Light, King George Miniature, King George Midget, King George Micro. All government is parasitic. All government is over-authoritarian. All government is full of liars. Voting hasn't fixed it. What else have we got? That's a question. You, Yankee Watchdog, say, if that's what has to happen, so be it. They won't stop. They won't back off. They won't fucking quit. In fact, someone sent me something today. I think it was Mr. Uman. Maybe it was Kaz. I don't know. That President Trump is now denying that he ever said there was going to be a $2,000 tariff rebate or something. Pretty sure it was $5,000. But the fact that he's denying he ever said anything, it's like, how hard is it to keep track of these people? We all do. They just throw shit out there trying to buy us off, keep us quiet, keep us happy, bullshit us. But they don't follow through. They don't do their job. It's just promises to keep us quiet. Kind of like way back. 2004? 2006 at the latest, I attended a community meeting with our federal representative, congressman, Republican. Back then, there was a lot of call for gun control. There was a lot of bullshit after 9/11. And he was like, no, there's no reason to talk about taking action like that. You don't need guns. Just vote and let us do our jobs. We'll fix everything. What a fucking liar. He lied right to our faces, knowing the government had no intention, knowing the government was going to pass the NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, to keep our rights on the Patriot Act, everything else. There's no attempt to restore our constitutional republic to its full and proper position. But this is what history shows us. We have to go through this. It has to happen. So be it. So mote it be. It's going to happen at some point. I just don't know when. I don't know what's going to set it off. We shall see. Thank you, Yankee Watchdog. Mr. Uman, who's up next? We got Doing Stuff with Nikki. She says, let's take care of shit in our own backyards our own way. Well, see, that's what the protesters say. That's what all the pro-Palestinians or Antifa or BLM or the LGBTQ pedophile, crowd. They all want to take care of shit their own way, and they try it in their little backyards. Seems to be successful, don't you think? They tear up towns. They throw shit at police. They attack old people. They attack, young people. They attack defenseless people because they're fucking weak cowards. And the police do nothing, and the mayors do nothing, and the governors do nothing. Maybe we should too. Maybe we should take care of shit in our own backyards. Maybe we should take over our own city and kick the fucking mayor out and kick out the city council and tell the police, you work for the people now, not politicians. You work for us. The Constitution is your fucking rule book, right? And it says what it says, and it means what it says. We don't need a court to tell us. We can say what we want. We can have guns. You can't come into our homes without a fucking warrant. You can't steal our property, right? All of these things the government's not supposed to be able to do. That, well, the Supreme Court has a ruling here and there, and they nibble away at your ass. Right? Maybe we should take care of our own shit. I'm not recommending we do it, but that's what a lot of people are going to think. They're going to think, I can't do anything about Ukraine. I can't do anything about Iran. Can't even do anything about Washington, D.C., but maybe I can do something about my own town. Right? I've wondered why people in Seattle or Portland, San Francisco or L.A. haven't taken things into their own hand. Because I think most people think they can vote their way out of this. They can fix it. Well, the Democrats cheat in the fucking elections, and the local political parties, both Democrats and Republicans, always select a candidate for their party who's going to be easy to control with money. Look what we got. We have very few federal politicians who are their own people. They're all fucking bought. They're all bought and paid for. Marge Taylor Greene had to quit. She just fucking quit. Charlie Kirk, before he was assassinated, said he was going to die. Said who was going to do it. Who gave out clue after clue after clue. You know, we know. But yeah, we'll see, Nikki. We're going to have to see how to clean this out now. Right now, right, all the shit's kind of contained in toilet bowls. Right? But when the shit climbs out of the toilet and tries getting all over the place, like Minneapolis or Portland, when it gets out into our backyards, it's out of the neighbor's toilet and is running across the yard, then it becomes our personal problems, right? Just like in 2020, when they're marching down the streets and saying we're coming to the suburbs, it becomes our problem. And the police said, you're on your own. Now, it's funny is I read a report about, it was down in St. Pete, down there kind of central Florida. St. Pete, I guess ICE was going to, I think it was a Hilton hotel, some major national chain. They were having a conference. They were talking and wanting to recruit people to work for ICE, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. So the local idiot Democrats in the area decided to have a protest there and interfere. And I guess the police showed up and just arrested the living fuck out of them. Good for St. Pete. That's St. Petersburg, not Russia, but Florida. Good for them. They just arrested everybody, right? Because the police there apparently wanted to take care of shit in their own yards so the people wouldn't have to. I love it when Florida does shit like that. Thank you, Nikki, very much. Yeah, we can take care of shit in our own backyards. If the police are going to do their jobs, good. If not, it's going to land in your fucking yard. All right, who's up next, Chief? We got Robin. It's been a while since we heard from you, Robin. Glad you're still out there. She writes, yep, you can only push people into the corner for so long. And that was in response to Nikki, and that's just it. We talk about the whole world, and if we got bad characters all over the planet, hey, they're way over there. We can't do anything about it. Then you shrink it down to your country, and you're like, hey, we're getting a little close here. It's America. We're supposed to have our shit together. But at least I live in a good state. And then you look at your state, and you're like, holy shit, that city is bad. That city is bad. These cities are really bad. Now you're feeling boxed in. Then you get to your own city, your own county, your personal 10-mile radius around you. And you're like, hey, now I feel like I'm pushed into a fucking corner. Now I'm feeling trapped and threatened. This is not advice. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm trying to create a scenario whereby we can think about where we're getting trapped, pushed into a corner. You can't go this way. You can't go that way. You're trapped. Do you have a right to defend yourself? Yes. Do you have a right to defend others around you? Yes. When you're being threatened with great bodily harm and injury or death, you have a right. Do you have a right as a citizen when you see a criminal to make a citizen's arrest? The answer is yes, you may. If they're committing a crime, you can arrest them until the police arrive. You give them a report, and they can decide if they're going to carry that person off or not. It's a dicey business, the old citizen's arrest thing. But you can only push people around and into a corner for so long. And then it gets nasty. Again, I'm not telling people to take action, to be violent, to risk lives, nothing. It's just a mental exercise. It's a conversation. Where else can you go? There's no other safe place. What other choice do you have? Well, you let them come into your house and steal your food, steal your property, steal your valuables, steal your car. Hey, how about steal your daughter? At what point do we stop and say, that's enough of this shit? We pull back the curtain. We see who you are and who you're controlled by. Flying monkeys is what rioters are, right? The queen, the witch. Go get them, my little pets, right? And she sends the flying monkeys out to harass and kidnap and screw people over. That's what we deal with on the street at our level, in our corner, in our neighborhoods, is flying monkeys doing the dirty deeds for people like Tim Walz, doing the dirty deeds for people in BlackRock, Vanguard. Oh, yeah. These investment corporations, they love ESG. They love diversity, equity, inclusion. They want to see things ruined. Trust me, that's what they want. They want to take away your freedoms, your right to free speech, your right to self-defense. They want you to have to submit to them. That's why they use their political power and their financial power to destroy us. Oh, folks, it's such an ugly, ugly world out there. When you strip away the facade, you see how ugly it is. I don't have time to read it all, but there's a lot of problems. A lot of problems. I got one thing I'm going to save for the very end. It's going to probably make you wonder what the hell's going on. Okay, Mr. Uman, who's up next? We're not quite to mine. It's Chin Music. He wants to talk about an old TV show, Barney Miller, from the 70s, and I think maybe the early 80s as well. Inspector Luger on Barney Miller used to say, quote, "It's time to start cracking skulls, Barn." Yes, it is. The time is getting closer. Yes, it is. Right now, Antifa, BLM, the LGB trans pedophiles, Antifa, BLM, the tranny fruitcakes, the pro-Palestinian terrorists, the drug cartels, the illegals that are here, they're foot soldiers for destroying the country. The fraudsters are here, same people, to screw us over, steal all the money they can. And they were even allowed to leave the country with millions of dollars in their luggage, millions of dollars leaving the country. And a judge today, a federal judge, geez, I wonder what political party they are aligned to, said that the Trump administration cannot cut off the welfare going to illegals in Minnesota. I'm pretty sure that's what I read. But all of these human groups that I just mentioned, all of these lunatic, retarded, just absolute anti-American thinking, they hate the country, but they're just flying monkeys. Let me tell you about where the future is, because Chin Music brought it up. Time to start cracking skulls. We can defeat these fucking morons easy and deport every last Middle Eastern piece of shit, send back south any of these Central and South American pieces of shit. You and I could do that. All of us, Americans, just go from neighborhood to neighborhood, go get the fuck out, get the fuck out, get the fuck out, or else you could do that. But guess what? The bad guys at the very top, they've been developing a program so they don't need these left-wing lunatics, these Antifa, these Bolsheviks that could turn on them just as quick as they turn on us. Oh, the Bolsheviks, folks, the fucking communists, they didn't like it when they had their power removed and they were killed off. And the communists decided that they don't need a bunch of radicalized idiots, that they could just use the military. Well, we're now at that stage in the future where we're looking at that. They'll use them to commit all manner of acts of violence. But now mainstream media, folks, is reporting that the Chinese military is developing robot dogs and humanoid combat robots. Whoa, who was it that laughed at me out there and said they won't replace human cops and military with robots? I said that years ago, that's what they're doing. They're developing these trash can robots for security. They've got the four-legged ones they've been developing. The battery systems are getting better. In fact, we talked about, these new solid-state silver batteries. They charge in a tenth of the time. They last twice as long and go twice as far. Oh, yeah. We can put these batteries in these robot dogs and these bipedal robots. You've seen Tesla. Elon Musk has his two-legged robot. You bet. Honda has theirs. General Dynamics has theirs. DARPA has theirs. Boston Dynamics has theirs. Two-legged combat robots. Four-legged robot dogs that they can mount guns to. Someone laughed at me and said they'll never have that. Now the mainstream media is reporting it. You bet. As soon as they're done with their Bolshevik idiots on the street, they can take charge with a mechanized drone or robot army. We already have large and tiny flying drones, right? They're equipped to kill individuals with explosives, or the bigger ones can use rockets. They can use lasers. They can deploy chemicals, right? Now, China's developing their own four-legged and also, two-legged all-terrain killing machines. Fuck, they're going to have a Terminator army coming. Are you still laughing at me over that claim? That's what they want to do to us? They're going to get rid of the untrustworthy humans once they get rid of enough of us, period. They could claim, we aren't capable of policing ourselves. They need these robots. The movie Ethereum, which means, I think it's, Ethereum, heaven, right? These rich people want their heaven. They want to live forever and they want to keep us down. Watch the movie Ethereum. They have robot bureaucrats, robot cops. And that's what they control humans with, because the robot don't give a fuck. Right? Robot can't turn on you. Oh, but you bet your ass Antifa or BLM could figure out, well, the people that are paying us to do bad things, they're actually the bad guys. They could turn on them. They don't want that. Oh, I tell you. What else we got? Anyways, thank you for the Inspector Luger callback, Chin. I appreciate that one. That's good stuff. That made me go right there. Time to start cracking skulls. When the skull cracking starts, who knows where it'll end. But the big guys at the top, they'll have their robots, their drones, their computer-controlled AI systems all ready to swoop in and ensure we're all good people, the ones that are left. Just wow. Mr. Uman, we still got some time left in the show. And Cyber Hana checks in and says, some Democrats in Michigan want to put out a bill to abolish ICE. His name is Shri something or other. It's hard to pronounce those names. Yeah, you can always tell the best anti-Americans by their un-American names. And I understand, hey, America was colonized, founded, civilized by people with European names. And since that time, other nationalities, other countries have had migrants come here with less American sounding names, Smith, Jones, Washington, Jefferson, Adams, those sorts of names. And now we've got other funky names, and I get it. But the ones we have now, they don't want to be Americans. They don't want to make America a good place. They hate America. All they see it is as a land of opportunity to steal. If you work real hard at stealing, you could be successful. That's what they do now. Anyways, yeah, they can't abolish ICE. ICE is a federal agency, and Michigan is a border state. But under the Constitution, once again, the rules. Yeah, I mean, there's rules to the game. Yeah, under the rules, the federal government, through its law enforcement agencies, ICE being one of them, has the authority to go into any state, any county, any city, and find people who are here illegally and remove them, deport them, protect the country from an illegal alien invasion, gangs, criminal networks. So these Democrats are just fucking idiots. You'll notice that they hate things like, patriot groups, veterans, Proud Boys, militias. They hate us, and they claim that, we represent an existential threat to their democracy. We're evil. We're just evil, they say. Like this, never mind. I don't even want to play it. I got a video that I had set up for it. Cyber Hana, thank you very much. Uman, let's do another one. We've got just a few minutes left. And Uman says the geniuses were threatening to boycott the fire department. Oh man, I'm that hurts. That really hurts. Yeah. I wiped out and landed on my ribs. Kind of painful. How exactly do you boycott a fire department? Refuse to call them when their houses are burning down. That's about it. Are they going to defund the fire department the way they defund the police? That's why they're stuck with death threats, because that's all they've got is threaten to kill them, because you can't defund them. I mean, you could, but you're just defunding yourself. You ever notice that fire departments are called fire companies? They used to be private companies that you couldn't get their assistance unless you paid them protection, right? It was a fire company. And so you would buy fire insurance, and that fire insurance, all it would do is guarantee that they would come to your house and try and put the fire out. And then they made it, mandatory, kind of like insurance, car insurance and other things. They make it mandatory. And then, then you get government fire departments, and they do a great job, but they're very, very, very expensive. Anyways, you can't boycott a fucking fire department. That's how these geniuses, I'm glad you called them a genius, man. They're really a bunch of fucking knuckleheads and retards. They really are. In fact, up in Minneapolis, the problem is just going to continue, folks. 3 illegals, kind of like the ones who were taken off the roof. 3 illegals from Venezuela came to America. Biden was president at the time. They attacked immigrations and customs enforcement with a shovel. And, having injured myself recently and healing up slowly has reminded me of why one doesn't wait until you're nearly killed on the ground being beaten by thugs to defend ourselves. You don't wait for that moment, right? I think the moment that your life is threatened, kind of like the police department, or rather, I'm sure they're getting threatened too. Fire department, when you're threatened, now you know that you're going to have to resist them. You're going to have to fight back, or you're going to be hospitalized, or you're going to be killed by these shit stains. That's the world we live in now. Are you prepared? We're not even at spring, folks. I think during the 2024 election, I was like, okay, we're going to have all kinds of violence. Well, I think they believed they were going to kill Trump. They put a bullet through his ear, but then he decided he's going to play along with the game. I think he got the message, Trump did. Well, now here we are 2 years later, and well, they don't like Trump. They don't like what he's doing. The fight, they need to bring this country down. I think they're going to start some big shit. They're starting it before we even get to the spring. Not the summer of love, not even the spring. It's the winter. And they're already pushing for civil unrest, threatening law enforcement, threatening ICE, threatening fucking fire departments, bomb threats, vandalizing and attempting to kill politicians as high up as the vice president, Vance's house. Are you prepared for what comes next? Are you prepared to defend yourself, your family, and your country? Get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Have a plan. I'll see you guys later. Have a good night. God bless America. Semper Fi.